Happy Monday, everyone. This is 60 Grit coming to you live with the Pixel 8 follow-up. So I have used this phone for a while. Overall, we'll say is probably one of the best Pixel phones out there made to date. When you look at the specs, are amazing. You got a large 50 milliamp battery. You got the G3 Tensor chip. The cameras are the most amazing parts of this. So you got 50 megapixel, 48 in here. So you got your 50 megapixel octa wide camera, your 48 megapixel quad, ultra wide with autofocus, another 48 megapixel quad, telephoto lens. So when you look at the specs on the actual camera, it's amazing. You cannot go. It's one of the better phones out there with specs on the camera. You got a 10.5-inch MP dual selfie camera. So overall, specs are great. The problem I have with Google is this is by far the smartest phone on the market. We all know that. With its call screening, with what they do with photos and what you can do along those lines, how you manipulate photos, AI-wise, you cannot argue Google has the best AI out there in the world. Why? Because it has one of the biggest wallets too, right? So when they're hiring people, everybody wants to work for Google. They're cool. So anyways, I mean, it's a great company. The problem I have is you have this amazing phone with amazing hardware, but you got Gmail, which is so outdated. Like, why can't they come up with an app to update Gmail? Photos is another irritating one. Is if you go upload a bunch of albums onto this phone and store them on the phone, you cannot alphabetize them. Each photo you put in each folder, or each album, I guess is a better thing, it will actually go, and that's how it's going to sort it. So it's going to sort by date of when that picture was taken or added to the thing. I mean, in what world? I mean, it's like you got the smartest phone, but we got prehistoric type mentality on the simplest things. Phone-wise is great. OS is great. I had no issues using the phone. It gets to the little small bits, like things like 1Password, which I use as my password keeper. You cannot, it works half the time. Like, it doesn't work on everything. Like, if you do anything Gmail, you can't do anything password because the way they block it. If you use Outlook Exchange for your work, it will not automatically add to G Calendar. Yes, there's little hot plugs you can do, but at the end of the day, if your job locks it down, you can't add G Calendar, which means you have to go with the Outlook calendar, which I personally don't like Outlook in any form or fashion. If you go to Samsung has a technology that if you have Outlook for your work on it, it will automatically add it to your calendar. So yes, it's doable. So you have a smartphone here, and they wonder why, they have a couple percent of the thing. It's funny, they take jabs at iPhone. I laugh at the videos. I think they're hilarious. I think they hit the mark about the Pixel and iPhone friends forever. But at the end of the day, Apple listens, and Apple makes overall functionality easy for its users. And if they want to start taking the market serious, and it seems like they do with this system. I mean, with this phone right here, you look at the specs, they finally came out and hit a home run. But you got to start doing the little things in life. No matter how great this phone is, if it's more of a pain for a business user to use it, nobody's going to use it. If you're using Gmail, which is so outdated, it is probably one of the worst. Maybe not. I would say it actually is probably one of the worst. Anything I think of worse is Lotus Notes. And if you ever use Lotus Notes, well, then I guess you understand my pain when I say that this is just a cry above Lotus Notes of usability. Gmail needs to be updated. You need to be able to go in there and sort your photos there. And here's the thing. I understand. And you can put your comments down there and everything. I understand I can download 1,000 apps to do stuff. But at the end of the day, why do you have to keep downloading apps to do something? Why can't the core functionality of the phone be smart enough? If you're a company that can tout how smart of a camera you can do, how you can manipulate pictures, how you can do all this stuff, then you should be able to put some basic functionality in all your apps that you're installing. Otherwise, don't install them on the phone. There's no need to have them. And yes, I understand I can upload all these photos and the albums to your cloud, and then I can alphabetize them because they'll be in your cloud, but that's a lot of money and data that you're trying to monetize off me. I just want some simple functions on the phone to work. The other couple of other features is if you use iPhone versus Android, some of the apps are not as polished as they are on Android. Those I can get around, but the core functionality of some of the basic apps installed are like prehistoric. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's like caveman days. So Google, if by some chance you ever get this review, get your thing up to speed. Come up to today's time. Don't be. I mean, are we in like 1990 when Gmail just came out? Is this where we're at today? I don't even know if Gmail came out in 1990, but I'm gonna throw it out there as that's probably about when it came out. And if I'm wrong, heck, y'all can put all the posts and tell me how I'm wrong. But I mean, that's my rant. It's just great phone, great hardware, great technology. It just lacks a lot of usability. And if Google wants to ever start taking shares away from the big players like iPhone, then you got to start making some things simpler on the phone. And I understand there's a lot of people that have Android that do it because of the flexibility. I gotta go do whatever I want to my phone. Great. But percentile, if you're Google, it's 3%. You're 3% of the share of the market. So as there are many people out there that like to do it, and that 3% does add up to a lot of people, it's nothing when it comes to selling phones. Until Google starts getting into the 15% share, 20%, they have really no market share. Yes, they're serving a purpose. Yes, they're evangelizing their line. Yes, they got some hardware, but if they really want to get serious and start making a mark on the market, they have to start gaining more share. And to do that, you're gonna have to come around and cater to the people. So you're gonna have to cater to the people that want to be flexible, but you're also gonna have to cater to the ones that don't want to be as flexible. And there's a fine line between the two. It's like, and I should never say this, but it's like Republicans and Democrats. They both think that they're 100% right, and they're not. And both have some great points of views, but they don't want to come together to say, okay, let's have a middle ground. Same thing when you get Android users versus iPhone. They always want to say how this is better or this is bad or, ooh, iPhone should change this. At the end of the day, why? But you can take the best of all the worlds, create them, find something in the middle, and have a thing. You can have this phone to be flexible still. You can have a lot of core features of why Android was created, why people fell in love with it from day one, but you can also polish it a little bit nicer. It doesn't take much to polish a phone. The other thing that's irritating, and I understand that's where Google makes tons of their money, is the constant ads that every time you install an app, you have to go turn off notifications. Otherwise, it wants to send you alerts. They just came out with some features for advertisement that now you can change. So they are listening to some of their users and they are coming out, but it's time to do something with Gmail. Kill it, wipe it out, or clean it up into a today's email environment. And I understand I'm probably offending some people, but these are facts. There's a reason why there are tons of email applications on Android that you can download, and why there's millions of users using those apps, because Gmail is not great. Photos is a big one. If you go Google alphabetize your albums on Android, you will see tons of people that complain about this. It's not just me. There's a ton of them. And these are simple tasks. The other cool thing, if they would actually do it, is why can't I not categorize my album? Like, why can't I go add this and then here? No, all I can do is add a home screen. I can't go there and make my own like finance folders wherever. That'd be kind of cool. You got a smartphone. It's the smartest phone out there in the world. It's, it can help the dumb iPhone survive itself. And hey, I can revive iPhone. Like, oh my gosh, iPhone, it's dying. Let me jump on it. Oh, look, I just powered you because I'm so smart. Well then, let's have some more smart features to go with that phone. I mean, I feel like I'm driving around in a Ferrari with a Miata engine in it. Like, come on. If I got a Ferrari, that Ferrari is well polished, well designed. There is not an attention to detail that Ferrari does not have. If you're my Ferrari, give me that. Otherwise, I feel like you're from that movie, and if you know the movie, it's you strap a rocket on a little Yugo type car and see what happens. Yeah, that's it. And please, that's my last rant. Love the phone though, hardware-wise. If you like Google, you've been there, you've done that, that's great. If you're an iPhone user, there are going to be some complaints you're going to have moving to this. And let's not even get into if you're Android, you want to text pictures to an iPhone, the issues and concerns you're going to have there. And I understand. People will say this all day long. Apple uses an old technology for texting. Why can't they come up to the latest and greatest? Well, let me tell you why. Do y'all even understand how iPhone got created? Well, let's go back in the day. There was BlackBerry dominating the market. The BlackBerry was the phone to have. iPhone went to the service providers, talked about texting over data and how it can increase the profitability of AT&T by forcing more data for its users, and they would have to buy it, which was very appealing. Like, I'm selling cell phones. How do I become more profitable? As I get more data. How do you do that? Oh, now I got a phone manufacturer. Came out here with a very polished, great phone from day one they started. And if you're an iPhone user, you got the first one, you probably got the second, the third, and now here are 15, and you're still staying, whether you upgrade every year, you upgrade every 3 years, whatever your thing is. That's how iPhone took and dominated, because it gave a very polished product. This needs to be a little bit more polished. That's all I'm saying. Great phone, amazing specs, and let's be honest, the specs are better than the iPhone. So if you're comparing the two, it's better. You start looking at Samsung, you still got some better specs on this phone. You cannot beat the hardware, but if you want to start taking the market serious and you want to start taking shares from somebody, because who are you going to take shares from? It's either Samsung or it's iPhone. Now, if you're Google, you don't want to take Samsung shares because they're still buying your license for Android OS. So you want to steal from the iPhone people. You can do that. You got to make this an easier phone to use. You got to make it cool. It's great. This is cool. Hardware is awesome. The blue is amazing. But you're going to have to do the little things to get those people over. Those girls and guys and everybody, you're going to have to do something different. So again, great phone. If you're on an iPhone, you're going to struggle with some of the apps. You're going to struggle with some of the core functionality along those lines of the phone. And that's, like I said, your albums, you cannot alphabetize them if you store photos on the phone. Gmail is completely outdated. It's horrible to use if you're used to something like that. And if you're already on Android and you're at Samsung, it's probably not that big of an uplift. Would I endorse this phone? By all means, I would. Love the phone, love the hardware. A couple of things that just irritate me about the phone that Google should be able to fix and tweak. Anyways, if you like my review, please subscribe. If you hate my review, subscribe to my channel twice. The more subscribers I get, the more I can get the message out, and I really appreciate it if you click subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming out. I will be doing my follow-up on the OnePlus Fold, and I have to admit, of all the fold phones I use, that one's pretty amazing. Thanks, and have a great Monday.